UAPs, they are called now. They have biologics on board, according to the government, kinda. This is a hell of a story. I don't even know how to present it to you, so I'm just going to let it present itself. Here it is.
Mr. Grusch, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
UFO whistleblower David Grusch claimed that the US government has possession of non-human aircraft during a House hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomenon, commonly known as UFOs.
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
He also added that, quote, non-human biologics were found at alleged crash sites, although he did not have firsthand information.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
We have nothing that can stop in midair and go the other direction, nor do we have anything that can, like in our situation, come down from space, hang out for 3 hours and go back up.
NASA's had it, the Pentagon's had it, every defense department has had it. Turn loose the files. Let's get to the bottom of it. This is just the start.
All righty then. Well, President Obama actually admitted, yeah, basically they are there. Here it is.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air. But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory.
Are they Democrats or Republicans, sir? Are they progressive or are they supporting Trump? These are the important questions that must be posed to the biologics. And are they okay with us calling them biologics? Anyway, put up the picture full mass. You see the look on his face? That's the look of a guy that says, yeah, I've probably effed up. But he has quite the history. Now, typically, when there's an allegation of this magnitude, you check the credibility of the individual. And you start to make comparisons as to the seriousness of their claim. So let's keep this picture up. Per CBS News, David Grusch is a former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower, and he actually went through the official process of becoming a whistleblower by contacting the Inspector General, who is in charge of the intelligence community in that aspect. He told House lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about unidentified anomalous phenomena, which is the new name now for UFOs, alleging at a hearing that the executive branch agencies have withheld information about the mysterious objects for years. So let me give you more background about Grusch. He served for 14 years as an intelligence officer in the Air Force and was an intelligence officer in the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. He appeared before the House Oversight Committee's National Security Subcommittee alongside two former fighter pilots who had firsthand experience with UAPs. Grusch served as a representative on two Pentagon task force investigating UAP until earlier this year. He told lawmakers that he was informed of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program during the course of his work examining classified programs. He said he was denied access to those programs when he requested it and accused the military of misappropriating funds to shield these operations from congressional oversight. He later said he had interviewed officials who had direct knowledge of aircraft with non-human origins, and that so-called biologics were recovered from some craft. Now, I did some research on his previous interviews, his current ongoing testimony to the Oversight Committee. And one thing I noticed is that he does not say the word alien, and he doesn't say other world. He says biologics, he says non-human, but he does not say alien in the specific sense of what the word typically would mean in this context. There's more. Jimmy Carter, former president of the United States, saw a UAP as well. Back then, they just called them UFOs. President Jimmy Carter was convinced he saw an unidentified flying object, UFO, in 1969. He didn't file a report until 1973 when an agency called the International UFO Bureau sent him a form to fill out. According to the form on file, the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum, President Carter filled it out by hand when he was serving as governor of Georgia. A second agency, the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, had a similar form with typed responses dated the same as the one filled out by President Carter on September 18, 1973. Wow. All right, Jackson, are we alone, sir, or not?
I think there's a lot to unpack here. I personally don't think that life is unique to this planet, just because the fact that life exists here means that life exists. And the more that we learn about the vastness of the universe and the complexities of it, the more it just seems likely that there's some kind of other life forms out here, especially like single-celled, simple life forms at least. But again, I think the odds of there not being additional life in the universe is very slim. However, then the question of them coming here is another issue entirely, because it's like the secret is almost out, but it never quite gets out. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't new. People have been coming forth for decades talking about governments, whether it's the US government or some type of government overseas, having access to alien technology or having evidence, but that evidence is never shown. And it's kind of implausible, in my opinion, to believe that the government of any kind of government made up of very flawed human beings would somehow be able to keep something so unbelievably spectacular a secret for so long. I mean, they can't keep secrets worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? Anytime anything's going on, we probably figure out about it. Even before the internet, you know what I'm saying? Secrets get exposed because that's just how human beings operate. We're not robots. But I mean, until somebody actually shows some real hard evidence and they're like really examining it, I just don't. Why is this being kept a secret? It doesn't make sense that this would be a secret. So yeah, I got to see it to believe it, but I do think that life exists elsewhere for sure.
You know, I want to echo your point about the incompetence of government to hide something this big. If it's real, Jackson, I believe it's much more about the biologics, as they're calling them today. This is about them not wanting to be exposed. Much more than about governments being able to successfully cover this up for so long. Right. All right. So anyway, we'll bring you updates as they come. Guaranteed to come. And promise you, I invite any biologic to the bullpen at any time. All right.